that I think on behalf of the committee, you shouldn't be writing a blank check. We're not looking for a blank check. We want to balance, what the town can afford, but also what the schools need. And we really want to try and, work together and make things happen. But we do want to point out good schools do attract people and businesses to the community, and really this one in particular. So when you think about the school budget, I just have to think about, don't just think of it as investment in schools versus investment in the town versus investment in business, because there's a correlation. Again, good schools attract people and businesses to the community. We've got a mission statement up there, and you can review that. Shared responsibility, mutual respect. This tries to drive it beyond the schools and the things we're trying to achieve with the budget. Next page is our vision statement, and it's worth looking at. We have to provide safe educational environment, provide quality resources, curriculum instruction. I have a few kids in the system, and I just point out anecdotally, from having children in the system, I met a lot of other parents and children too who are in the system, and students who are in the system. And just anecdotally, they all seem pretty happy. The kids really seem to like the school system, and I understand that you can't budget based on whether the kids like it or not, but I think it's worth noting that our kids are not miserable in school. Well, actually, they're pretty happy. Now, next thing, this is getting to the budget timeline, the goals and parameters. You can look at this slide at your leisure, but there's just 2 points I want to address to you, or point out to you. Again, this is, a lot of times a lot of issues came up, and again, I've been on the school committee just really for about almost 2 years. And what I've noticed is that it seems like there's a lot of issues sometimes between the school committee wanting to show you what it feels like it needs, and also complying with the cap. As I go here, because I want the school committee wants to let you know what they feel they can add to the school beyond maintenance. And the council and many people are scarcely concerned about the budget saving with the 4% cap. So one of the things, I know that we're doing this now, or I should say it's being placed before the voters, is to push the deadline back for submitting the budget. That's going to help both sides. And the way I think that's going to help is that it's going to allow perhaps a more realistic, more accurate numbers later in the year. Things like fuel, things such as some of our staff needs are more apparent the further to the school year you go than they are in December. So I really commend you putting that on as the chart here. I commend you putting that on there. I believe the Bacon Edge report also suggests that we do that. And there is a note that Bacon Edge had suggested on the bottom right hand going forward. You may consider a supplemental document request for budget request. What I'm getting at there is perhaps we could look at, we submit our budget and always making sure that we're within the 4% guideline, and then perhaps consider maybe doing a process where we give you supplemental requests for some of the things we can do beyond the budget. I'm not talking about so much tonight, but just thinking about trying to be creative going forward. Where are the things we can change to try and make sure that we have good communication, you understand what the school committee is looking for, and we make sure that we're being clear on what we want. I just have a little side note that Mr. President and Town Administrator, myself, former Edward Heeman, Budget Commissioner Nato, several other people from town, we attended a seminar a few months back now, at Rhode Island College. It was sponsored by RIS. And in fact, as Mr. President and I were sitting next to each other, we remember that there were a lot of innovative ideas out there about how schools can fund. And indeed, the General Assembly is looking at this issue right now of how to fund schools going forward, how to do different things, different ways to try and raise money. And we should both keep an eye on that and try to support initiatives that we think, first of all, identify some of the initiatives that we think would be helpful for the town, and then support the ones we think we can take advantage of. I know people sometimes say, well, what can we do? Well, these are the kind of things we can do. Let's look at what ideas are being proposed and try to support them. And I know I'm going a little off this particular budget, but again, the question comes back to, what about going forward? What do we do differently going forward? There are things going forward. I'm not going to go into details tonight. We know they're out there that things we can try to push to see if they can happen at the state level. The next slide is kind of budget development parameters and goals. I just draw your attention to the left side of the screen. And it talks about, when I summarize the state, it talks about a lot of guidelines and mandates that come above. By above, I mean outside the district. From the state, NEAP, ultimately these are federally driven. And these often, a lot of times people wonder why are we putting money into some things and not other things? Why is sports always one of the things that's going to cost out there, something that may not be around? We don't like doing that, and we certainly want to come up with a system in the future where we don't do that. But there are certain mandates that we have to follow. And simply put, when the money gets tight, the mandates get funded, what's mandated gets funded first. And just in my experience, I was formerly a teacher, and I've been around the state for 21 years. I think that which requires schools has dramatically risen in terms of, when I mean requires terms of mandates. I mean, the emphasis on standardized tests, the emphasis on NEAS, the emphasis on more mandates with regard to special needs children has increased considerably since 1990. And so, what that means is since those mandates have increased, we see more money being put into that. There's an awful lot of money being put now into math and science, and we're trying to increase our proficiency for that. One of our goals is to increase math and science proficiency by 85%. You hear about, of course, all these things that are going on in the state in terms of whether or not how much that's going to cost for a student's graduation rate. But it's obvious out there. It's a major issue. And some schools are required to address. Okay, I want to try and get back on some more statistics now. Next slide. Oh, I'm sorry. There is a point that says the administrative budgets. They're based on shifting identified needs. It's not tough. All right, let's get on the board brass tacks. Let's talk about $240,000 increase. I know that's a figure that we hear a lot, but this shows where that money is going to go. Another way of looking at it would be, where might be cut if we didn't get those numbers. And kind of going back to what I said earlier, this is by way of an example, but also specific. You see the very first thing there. The 0.5 English is a second language teacher. That's a 0.5 is a half-time position. Approximately $35,000, and that was based on, yes, borderline, yes, in step 4, I'll get them to change. That's an example. We looked at the school committee has looked at, what we told the administration, they looked into, can we share somebody part-time? But can we share with another neighboring district? And can we reach out to districts that already have someone who they want to share part-time? Right now, it's fluid. We haven't got anybody like that yet. So we are looking for ways to try and be cost-effective. But again, this is a mandate from above. Because of our population, we now need to have English as a second language teacher. It's just something that we need to have. Again, based upon the population numbers we have right now. Again, I think that maybe we may still need to share with another district down the road, but that's what I mean by things being driven by mandates sometimes, not necessarily growing in ways that we'd like to. Now, don't misunderstand, we're having English as a second language teacher, we're glad to have that, but that's something like that's committed, that's something we have to have. The transportation budgets, I think you see those numbers there. The guidance counselor, the special ed teacher. One point I made for special education teachers down there. We're actually going to wind up losing a total number of positions, and you'll see later on why in this way. This budget actually cuts our positions by, is it 1.1 or 1.5 actually cut the staff down by? 1.1, right? Yeah, 1.1 cut. So these are the net gains. You see the losses a little later on. The next page, if we could, talks about just some more on what our healthcare things have come through. The healthcare consortium provides to the trust. Our rates in 2014 and 2015 went down, and we got some savings, about $456,000 in savings. Now, we apply that money to try and reduce some of the previous budget submissions. And you can go through that and take a look at that. There's some more explanation there about some numbers and some positions. We're able to restore, for example, leading people. That was something that we talk about next year, not this year. The department head stipends. I know people argue sometimes we need department head stipends. Yes or not. We found them very effective at high school. Again, it's not something you can discuss, but again, we found that they've been successful at high school. The principals here, if you want to ask questions about that. We have a story position. Again, I don't want to read through the PowerPoint, you certainly do that, but that can tell you some of these numbers are coming. The next slide I thought was pretty good, and I think it's pretty self-explanatory. You see the number of the appropriations. Anything under 10% cap allowable with staff in 30-50 legislative statutes. Potential increase, $728,675. We're looking at a net increase in state aid of around $200,000. Budgeted revenue, about $30,000. And so our budget submission now total up to $24,743,515. The next page kind of breaks it down a little more. What's it looking at? Okay. Salary obligations, Certified teachers, we have a 2.6% increase for fiscal year 15. Stipends for department heads, team leaders and everything, 0% increase for fiscal year 15. There's a decrease in athletic stipends, and I'll speak to that in a minute. Small increase in a 2.6% increase in administration, and a decrease in administrative support. These are salary obligations. Sure. Mr. Rock, I can come up with best benefits briefly. You want best benefits for a second? I'm just going to address our.
The overall benefits are increasing 4.8% or 20%. Benefits account for 20% of the FY15 budget. Health benefits, we actually had a decrease in the rate of 7.3%, which equated to a decrease of 0.9% in our working rate. Delta dental went down 4.5%. Certified time and municipal time and others. So overall, salaries and benefits are up 7.5%, and they increased 78% of our.
You know, I'm sorry. As many of you are aware, I'm sure, health costs are major costs any large employer. I mean, it's not like it's not like something unique in this. I mean, health costs are very large costs. So it employs a lot of people. And I've seen a lot of it as well in terms of, I think the school department is probably the largest single employer in town. I think I'm pretty proud of that, but I can't, we certainly have the teachers probably right around it. Operational budgets are next one. Pretty much, what's the operational budget? What is operational budget? It's the cost to operate the school. In contrast with the facilities budget, you might see that. And I'm not sure, but I certainly got confused when I first got on the council of the committee. And I want to mention, I thought it was worth making a note. Your operational budget is what it actually costs to operate the schools. The facilities would actually go into maintaining the actual facility. And you can see the numbers there. Again, this slide right here gives you the operational budget. And you see it ties into the central office, facility, and people personnel. The big three from the operational budget are the central office, the facility, and the people personnel. And I'm going to go into that in a second. What are those three things involved? You can see all of them. I mean, NSES is Smithfield Elementary School. The rest I think is pretty self-explanatory. Okay. Our budget overview overall, fiscal year 15, 2015. I'm sorry. 58% of it goes to salaries, 20% to benefits, 22% to operations. Just kind of give you that big picture. And yes, so we got 1/2 salaries. But again, the number of employees we have and what we're doing, that is not out of whack as we expect. The big three again. The big three of the operational budget. The central office, people personnel, and facilities, they represent 89% of the budget. As far as the facilities, each year the building principals directors adjust their budget based on changing needs. What we're doing this year is maintaining current offerings, we're not offering any new offerings. I'm going to get to the big three in the next 3 slides. This is the central office budget. You can see non-discretionary is 19%, our district tuition is 22%, transportation including fuel is 59%. Let me give you the details on that. We have a new contract with GATCO, the bus service provider. It was obtained through a competitive bid process and hoping to see some good savings through that. This is for our in-school transportation. This is for the students in school. Correct me if I'm wrong, first service is school, we provide our transportation to students.
That transportation is slice of the pies for everything. It's both in-district and district private, district both, district child school fuel.
Right.
For everything.
And most of that's backfill and a little bit with first service. Now, for the out-of-district tuition, I want to point out, for the central office budget, when we say out-of-district tuition, these are students who would not be classified as special needs students. These would be students like going, for example, to Beacon Charter School, to a charter school. Now, by law, you may be aware, students in North Smithfield who want to go to Beacon or any charter school, they qualify, or they make the lottery, they can go. And yes, your state town is responsible for the tuition for that charter school. Again, that's not something that we have. We can't say you can't go to that charter school if you qualify. By that meaning lottery. In most cases, lottery. So that's something we have to we pay for. I'd like to mention as an aside, and this is just more of a personal view, we can offer more in the areas of art, besides music, maybe some of those students, you know, you try to keep some of those students in. Again, if you're asking, what can we do down in the future to try to add them? We have a great music program, and we have also a nice finance program too. We can add, the more we offer, the more we're likely to keep some of those kids who are leaving out of district schools, keep them in. Again, this budget doesn't offer more, it offers the things we have. And I have a note here, I'd like to suggest at some point, how can we continue to do a workshop? We can talk more about these ultimate funding needs. You know, tonight's not the time to do it, but it's when I sit down, and again, I come back to the town administrator, the president, and others, that meeting we went to a few weeks ago. I know this district meeting going forward. We still have to share what's going on and see what we can look for other revenues to try and support some of these other programs that I'm suggesting we can do to try and help us out and also keep more kids in and keep them in the district. With regard now, I think the big three, central office budget is the first one. Then you have the facilities budget. Now that's the next slide. I think that's pretty self-explanatory too. Energy consumption is a big part of it, as do most schools in the Northeast and New England. That energy consumption is a big thing. We have water, contract, septic, solar services. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. The next slide is the pupil personnel services budget. And I just want to point out this one, out of district. You might have seen out of district at the central office. Again, out of district in the pupil personnel budget is for students who are designated as special needs students. And so going for various schools and programs that the district cannot provide. And again, that's different than the out of district that's under the central office. I want to be very clear. They both say out of district, but they're two different things. Well, let me rephrase that. They have students leaving the district, but again, one's for the charter schools, pupil personnel services, and students with special needs identified. Now, the next slide comes up to what's the budget support. I'm not going to go through and read through it with you. That's why we left the paper. You can certainly look at it. Again, maybe the highlight to point out is a big thing here that it maintains a lot. It maintains what we have, and frankly, we have a good school system. On a personal level, like what I would say is, what's the flip side? What don't you see? Well, you don't see like the alternative education program that I was championing and hoping that we could, get going next year. Again, not criticizing, but I want to emphasize there are things we can do to try to keep more students in the district, if we can get some of those startup costs going. And something to sit with you guys, I'd like to sit with the council and work with you and the town administrator and all the budget commission and all the players involved to see what we can do to try to take advantage of some new initiatives. Again, I'm not going to read everything, but I just want to mention too, the middle school athletics are still going to be offered next year, and we have cut it though. The fiscal year 13 operational budget. And I had a chance to see some of the middle school athletics. We have a great middle school athletic program. We had a cross-country program this year. I think for the first time we ran it, and we had 8 kids trying out for it. And that's, for middle school kids, it's great to be exposed to that sport at a young age. And a lot of them 6th graders, a lot of them 7th graders, who are out there, running, in an organized sports for the first time. And even the kids who had done softball, most of them hadn't done track before, and they really liked it. And cross country is a relatively easy sport to fund, to get together. So, we had 80 kids wanting it. They had to cut some kids actually. And they didn't want to cut kids, but just because Ms. Nina and Lucia wanted to sit running it, we just couldn't afford to have more kids on there because they could only watch so many kids at once. But it's, there's some opportunities there that we can get more kids playing some what's at the relatively cheap cost. And I want to say, let's explore some of those and work together to explore some of those ideas. Oh, yes, please. And that's kind of the same thing. What the budget's unable to support. I guess I kind of always spoke to that. We can't get the math, for example, the math specialist, the 0.5 librarian, the high school, the alternative learning program. Again, not my personal thing I'd like to see in. We all have our personal projects we'd like to see in. But it's just giving you some ideas of, okay, another way of looking at this would be, what's our wish list? What could we look at some other funding mechanisms to try and help with some of these things? We do have some ideas. We want to sit down and talk to you about them. Again, that's a nice opportunity to do it. We do have ideas. If you're going to say, what do we do? We have ideas. We want to sit down and talk to you. And in fact, here. Oh, stop. Well, I'll take it. If you get too much slides, we'll find it.
Take a breath.
No. I am not going too fast, but I really want to stay. I want to stay on time. I don't want to be on time. This just shows, I think, what the numbers show us the appropriations. I just have a note that I want to make. On the school committee, we're all taxpayers too. I really actually appreciate the opportunity to address it now, and that, you know, the great recession impacts my family, impacts many of my friends in town, I'm sure it impacts many of you. You know, we all want to work together to see more to maintain the schools. We also want to know that it's hard to do it in the economy. Again, I think that's why it's so important that we come across as unified and we work together more to try and find ways to support some of these initiatives around the state and find ways to get other revenue streams. And again, we had some great ideas in that last meeting to be able to work on. And I'm sorry, the meeting I'm referring to again is the one we went to, where I asked, where again, as I should mention, the Raw Department of Education primarily was the presenter at that. And they showed many different initiatives that are available in different revenue streams. Again, we spoke about that as president, or we still have some ideas. And if you recall, Senator Pearson spoke to us about some initiatives the General Assembly is looking at too. And if those come down, we certainly consider trying to support those and take advantage of them. And I have details, I'm not going into it tonight, but I have a book with a handout. I'd be happy to come and maybe go over some. On the budget analysis, I think it's pretty straight, self-explanatory. You can go through that, take a look at it. That's, if you want the cheat sheet going from 2009 to 2014, looking at the 4-year total, showing the local appropriation, the 30-50 allowance, and the difference in the average per year. Yeah, I'm not going to look at this line. This slide right here, revenue sources, that shows where the funding comes from. The biggest chunk comes from local funding. That's how we honor it. That's just how we fund our schools, with local funding. We can argue that's the best way, but that's the way it is right now. State education aid, of course, is the next big chunk. Then federal grants, the food service, the Medicaid program, Medicaid reimbursement, I'm sorry. We get from preschool and non-school facilities, that gives you a snapshot of what we're looking at in 2015. That's a good slide, I think. If you want quick by the book numbers, that gives you, it's in the budget, but you can look at that real quick. Yeah, this just defines the revenue source, if you have any questions on that. What, like when it says, what's the general operating fund, what is that? Just defines what those terms are. The next one is the per pupil expenditures. Now, I want to make a point. This is a comparison with the districts. Now, I have a note here. Oh, I'm sorry. You know, these are sure. Is this selected? It certainly is. I just, you know, we can certainly point to other districts, and I'm not here crying out, you know, us versus another district. I just want to point out that we have good staff. And, you know, I think what's interesting about these districts, Credit, Tiverton, Situate, Narragansett, those are the districts we compete with teachers for. We have a good staff. One of our middle school teachers, Ms. Carnavale, was voted Rhode Island Social Studies Teacher of the Year this year. And at the high school, and it was Ms. Lawson, was the high school social studies teacher of the year. So, as a parent, just little kids in the school, I think we have good teachers, and I think they do a good job, and we do compete with the schools for them, so it's something to bear in mind. Next slide, uniform chart of accounts. This goes back to 2011-12, so I don't think we have any data after that. Yeah, if you talk to Brian too at the Hasselfield Center, they're always, you would think with computers today that you add the date, but actually the data is a year or two behind in terms of comparing to other districts. This just shows you some, again, some of the different numbers with regard to those same districts. And again, you can pick different districts and you can manipulate numbers all you want. But I think these are interesting to know because they are the kind of districts we compete with teachers with. And next slide, please. Same thing. It's comparing pupil support, basic teaching program support, how we stand to some of the other districts. The last thing I want to point out is the student enrollment. And again, you know, there's an awful lot to talk about. Is our enrollment going up or down? I don't want to focus on that because we don't know where the future's going to go. We're a little bit up from last year. Projections are just that, projections. What I want to reiterate is that investing in the schools and having high-performing schools makes the community attractive to businesses and to the persons. Nobody here is expecting to have a blank check written, and I said that before, and I want to emphasize that again. You want to check what the school committee is doing. That's a good thing. I think if you come to some of our school events, and I know some of you have, but just to mention that, and I know some of you have, and we've had quite a few lately, you'll like what you see. You know, the kids want to be in the school, the teachers and staff are invested. As I made a note here, I ran the weekend race that the NSAA and the school department sponsored. I was narrowly adopted Mr. Becker, Mr. Beznadi, and Ms. Lima, and most of the school bus members, but anyway, so it's only they're doing very well, or I'm doing very poor, what do we have? But it was great to see, but yeah, I just mentioned that, it was great to see some of our staff and teachers, as well as some of the kids at the event we've had in town, and so many members of the community. I don't know how people start, I think it's 300 runners. And just from being there, I can say, there's a lot of people from the town. It's great to see that. We use the town roads and we use the school facilities. We actually finish up with the track. You know, we're trying to make the schools, one of the things I did was try to make the schools as open as possible to the community. And I think we're doing an awful lot to make it even more open and get more use out of the facilities we have. Kind of went through that quickly. Again, leave that to leave it here for you, but I do have the entire staff here. I guess the concluding thought I'd like to give you is, besides that, I guess this quickly. Number one, we'd really like to have that workshop at some point to talk about different revenue streams. We really want to work on working with you, and when I mean like collectively, and all the stakeholders, and not just the people I'm speaking to, but all the stakeholders now. So the schools are part of the community, we want to be part of the community. The school community people, we're all taxpayers in town too. We understand, sometimes, I think sometimes the discussion gets lost, is that sense of, we're looking for money and we're, this is back and forth. We understand you're in difficult situations too, We're not, my personal observation would be, we're not in a different situation than other districts. Other districts in New England, Rhode Island, because we're so funded based upon local taxes and local appropriations, and most of our taxes are based upon our real estate tax, and to a lesser extent, the excise tax and the automobiles. It's tough everybody. Everybody's feeling recession. We understand it. Really appreciate whatever consideration you did to the budget. We're trying to give you a flavor tonight what we're trying to do. Again, it's a maintenance budget. It's a great mission we'd like to pursue, and we can't do them all now because we have to find money to be able to do those things. But if you give us what we've asked for, we'll maintain what we have. I try to show you tonight what we'll do with that money, or what the school district will do with that money. And I'll also try to show you some things we'd like to go on, that we can work with you on to try and add to the district. And again, I think going forward, there's a lot of things we can do. I think there's a lot of things we can do in terms of pursuing the revenue, consolidating, doing more with what we have, doing more with less, and keeping to make it attractive. I think the way we want me to grow businesses, attract businesses, is that to the school. Most of the administrative staff is here tonight, a lot of the administrative staff is here. If you have any questions, we're here to answer them all.
Thank you, Mr. Connell, and I appreciate that you recognize that, that the council has difficult decisions to make about how it's going to allocate all town resources, and there's obviously competing interests, and I appreciate that you understand that. One thing I think would be a good suggestion about maybe scheduling a special workshop to discuss some of the things you mentioned about alternative learning opportunities and so on and so forth. And I'm open to that, absolutely. I think that something else that we might consider is, I know that you're the school committee's liaison to the town council. Councilor Alex is the town council liaison to the school committee. And maybe it's even a case where, I know the time of day is an issue, but even if it's a matter of the two of you scheduling time to sort through some of these issues, and then maybe Councilor Alex can even bring it to the council with you, and we can have some of those discussions. That may be a more expedient way to get some of these issues before, because I know it's been a challenge in the past to get dates that enough people are available to have a workshop. So, short of getting there, and I'm all for that, but short of getting there, maybe there's an opportunity for the two of you to work one-on-one.
Certainly open to that, and the only thing I'd like to mention is, if you know of a workshop that you think it would be worthwhile for one of our people, for some of more of the school committee people to come to, please pass it on. And by the same token, we usually attend workshops by RIAS, Rhode Island Association of School Committees. They put on a workshop, usually a workshop every month. If we see something that we think is, might be of interest to some people, pass it on. And, again, the ones that...
The one we went to was fantastic.
It was fantastic. And again, I don't want to, I guess what I want to say is I don't want to have those ideas sort of fly in the guts. I think there's some issues there we can take advantage of. And the truth is, not everybody takes advantage of them. Some people, some districts don't, not every district can maximize its potential. And being a small district, there are things we can do quicker than, say, maybe some larger urban districts. Something they can do that we can't do. But again, we don't necessarily have to do those if we have a small school population. We can afford, if we can act quickly, that's a good start. But yeah, I'd be happy to talk about outside.
Does anybody have any questions for any of the school committee members of that? Yeah.
I'm going to apologize in advance. I'm not going to be here for the public meeting on June 12th, so I don't know what you're going to present there, but I did take the time this weekend to go through the loose leaf that was delivered to my office. So I have a bunch of questions, and if you don't feel comfortable answering them tonight, then by all means, feel free to send me an email.
So, that's why I have the administrative staff and the financial staff, so,
All right.
well, our goal is to answer everything tonight, not have to get back to you. You know, we have to get back to you.
All right, well, I'm reading certain things, and I just want to make sure my assumptions are correct. So you're basically looking for the maximum amount of funding from the town council to be able to do what you call the maintenance budget. Okay, so that's adding nothing, keeping as much of what you have right now, maybe adding stuff that may be mandated,
Right.
but keeping pretty much the status quo.
If you go back to the one slide that talked about a 25 ESL teacher, I know what slide that is, adding those things would be a
Yes, yeah, because, you're reducing, you said you were going to reduce the teachers I see 1.6 less, but then you're adding back 0.5 because it's required at the
Yeah.
ESL, or it's highly recommended by RIDE.
Yes, better way.
However you want to phrase it. Okay, so you get a net 1.1, I think that was the 1.1
That's
that
the
the
1.1,
superintendent was talking about. Okay, so that seems to be fine, and I'm assuming that's all driven because of budget limitations? And again, your proposed budget is, if you don't get funded in the full way, there's going to be more than a 1.1 reduction in full-time equivalents. Is that fair to say?
Well, we have, the superintendent saying, correct, obviously, we have to look at things again.
Right.
We'll look at things again. Yeah, that's what we do.
Okay, all right. Basically, how I read the executive summary was that approximately 2/3 of the increase that you're looking for, or somewhere north of 600 grand, are contractual obligations that are required by the union contract. Am I reading it right? I want to make sure I have an I've done this enough times where I think I can understand it on my own, but I kind of, on the record, want to hear that, I'm correct, that I'm coming up with like $610,000 of the increase is strictly, of the requested increase is strictly because of the union contract.
I'm going to point out that I didn't do the math on that particular question. The superintendent tells me that's correct. I know it's wrong.
Lisa did it, 66, you're right, 66% salary and benefits, that's even with the $456,000 reduction in healthcare. Yeah.
Okay, all right, so I am reading it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder. Because this stuff is, I've been doing it for a number of years, and every year there's something I'm throwing for.
I'm still working on it, understanding. Like I said, I learned a lot tonight I learned a lot by preparing for tonight. The more you look at this, it's actually quite involved in learning schools.
Yeah.
From our history.
The next comment that I had is, according to this executive summary, again, if I'm reading it right, 24% or $282,000 increase in special education out of district.
Yes, I believe that was correct. What page? I believe that is correct. What page?
Yeah, it's page 10 of your executive summary.
Yeah. You're correct.
All right. Again, trying to learn from, I don't want to say past mistakes, but let's just say past budgeting. I'm assuming we have a handle on it, and I'm assuming that a good chunk of this increase is because it's been better identified after Mr. Edge came in and Mr. Sweeney came in. And am I correct, or am I missing something?
Yeah, you're correct. I would prefer I'd love from Mrs. Rathler, who's here tonight, to comment on that. I think your question is whether it's more reliable, less reliable, is that what you're asking? Channel 9, Suzanne, she's been working on power lines.
Yeah, we have several principals and finance here, so.
Hi, how are you? Yes, the line item's been increased because we have a little bit of a better handle on students that are out. We're starting to get some information on the situation for next year. There are a couple that are going down, but usually, as expected, the tuition rates do go up. And we also put a line item in there for unanticipated tuitions, which is very important.
Actually, if I can follow up on that, because I was going to ask that question. I think it was one of the recommendations from the VA report about having a contingency reserve for unexpected. And it sounds like what you're saying is that is factored into the budget?
Yes,
Into that number, thank you.
Assuming you get everything that you've asked for.
assuming.
Assuming.
Right.
And is it safe to assume if you get everything that you're asking for, and if your special education budget is not required, then the excess funds that aren't spent would roll over into such a contingency? Or does it have to roll over automatically by law? What are the requirements?
So that's a great question. It's one of the things we recommend to the school committee, that the $139,000 line item for unanticipated tuitions is funded, and it's not touched, but the committee restrict that and let it roll over exactly. Just don't touch it, so.
And build up the kitty for unexpected next year, the year after, or whatever?
Suzanne, you had some changes, you talked to me about that.
Yes, it's a very volatile account because it fluctuates from day to day. And just in the past 2 weeks, I've had 3 students move into the district with already being placed. So that's something we can't control. And once a student has been placed by another district, and then here it's our obligation to maintain that. So you never know from day to day. It could go up, it could go down, it could stay the same.
So you're getting placements with 1 month left in the school year?
Sure.
Wow.
Yeah, that, it happens. You know, and we have gone probably since my start here with maybe 1 move-in, and then in the last 2 weeks we've had 3.
Sorry, enrollment, by the way, went up from, let's see, 1727 to 17, I think it's 47. Yeah, it's gone up by 23, 24 students. And I stand corrected, Lisa just corrected me, it's 159, we're able to put a few more dollars into the unanticipated line item. Readjusting.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Any more questions?
I have more, yeah, but not for special,
Oh,
not for
okay.
your area.
All right, so I
Unless you want to catch the flaming arrows for everybody.
No, I'm good, thanks.
Oh, okay.
Mr. Chair, maybe Mr. Conklin, just one little follow-up on that. Two quick follow-ups. You know, I actually used to be a special ed teacher, a special education teacher, I should say. And you can have a student, the reason, I mean, people sometimes wonder, why is that number volatile? I'm going anecdotally here, but like, if you have a student go into the school system who repeatedly gets into fights, and at some point somebody says, has this student never been evaluated? And the student gets evaluated, maybe not, 7th, 8th, 9th grade, and it finds out the student has, some type of behavior disorder. Now that's qualifies for services. With regard to students who are going out of the district, and I go back to what can we do? I would like to see us work on that alternate ed program, at least looking into expanding alternate ed program, try and keep some of those students in the district. And I know Ms. Rathman is looking now, but it seems we can keep it in district. When we're talking about keeping it in district, there's what the student we can service right now, and there's some students we can't. There's always going to be some students we can't service. I shouldn't say always, but there will probably always be some students who will need to send out because the district decides we're going to have so big a program. But I think we can expand what we have in terms of we can expand the numbers to the type of students we can service and therefore the number.
Next question is in the facilities area. I'm just wondering, are all 4 of the school complexes included for the oil, gas, and the propane?
Yes.
Right now, okay. And the water and septic is up 20%? Did I read that right? Or are we expecting 20% increase?
It is up 20%. And Tony said comment on that.
Still in demand for that?
So you're talking the water,
The water and the septic, I'm looking at what appears to be a 20% increase.
yes, it continually goes up. We have to go out on the contract for our drinking water. And we go out and bid each year. This is how the year goes up.
Okay, so when you say drinking water, just so that I think I'm going to assume that you're talking about the monitoring of the public water system,
Of the water system.
what we call a public water system, but it's
Right.
not a water main that goes to NSES or the high school or the middle school.
Yes,
It's an on-site well that needs to be monitored.
yes,
And those are the expenses that are going up?
yes.
Okay.
Including a small tweak in pumping out of Hallowell, which is every other week.
It's, we have, the family of the assessment of the power line, we gotta pump it out every 3 weeks. That started this year.
And what are the required contracts? What does that mean? Are those like HVAC maintenance contracts?
You have your prior contracts for your elevator inspections, your fire alarm inspections, things that the state says that you have to inspect is generators, all of your state requires special.
Fire suppression, you go on, we're required to have our kitchens inspected, everything secure. Water testing.
So that's the kind of stuff you couldn't do in-house if you wanted to anyway. There's nobody with that kind of expertise or qualification or certification.
Correct.
The enormous amount of required contracts.
I think that's it for Tony there.
I could also mention, just this is kind of just reminded me of something you said about the in-house. It just reminded me of something I wanted to mention about the ELL, for example, English language learner teacher specialist. We also looked in-house to see if we had, a lot of these things that we're looking at, we looked to see if we did have in-house to cover that. And I talked about partnering with other districts, but we also looked in-house too. And I think there was one person, but that person was committed to this stuff. You know, we couldn't move that. If we move that person, then we still have a 0.5 slot to fill somewhere else. So we have looked in-house to see what we have in terms of our staff and personnel, what people can do. And we continue to do that. We've actually got some initiatives we're thinking about doing, offer some type of, well, I don't know, yeah, some alternative program we're thinking about trying to roll out with what we have. That's something to do.
Next question, if I could. Technology budget.
Page one?
On page 13, I think.
Okay.
My old eye is failing me. I guess it starts on 12 and runs over to 13. But on 12, at the top of 12, it's talking about a 7% reduction in technology, just if, and that's assuming you get fully funded with the available increase you're requesting from the town and the state, you're still going to have to drop that technology 7%, is that correct?
Yes, we went over this with Eric in his parting days, although he was here today. And 7% reduction amounts, or comes from a server that he recommended be replaced. He recommended 2 servers be replaced, which definitely want to start with that. So there's enough money for one, and so we, right now, put the other server on hold. We also took out some nominal funds for professional development throughout the school. For some, I believe it's some hardware and software, education related at NSCS. So it was just a matter of making it fit, and who said, you know what, we'll roll the dice on that server.
But, you know, I hate to see it, being somebody who's involved every day with technology, to me, that's where the future of savings can be, I think, realized in the future. If not today, in the very short, near future, to me, a lot of the stuff that's going to be, in the education field, I think, is out of necessity because of experiences of tight money, not only here but all over the place, is going to move more towards computerized, cloud-based, type of instruction, or maybe not the general meat and potatoes, so to speak, of how education is delivered, but especially in the area of advanced AP courses that kids could take. It may not be worthy of an AP, hiring an AP teacher to teach, advanced calculus, but if we have the technology, maybe there's something that can be done as a compromise. So I personally, knowing, especially working with Eric and everything that we did at that middle school, I have firsthand experience. I really hate to see technology, be reduced. I understand you got to do it, so maybe the question is, if you could realize some savings in other areas during the year, would you come back? What's the procedure to come back and revisit the technology if you get halfway through the year and you've had some favorable financial results, and we have a mild winter, and you don't have to spend as much for gas or propane or snow plowing?
Yeah, usually, you hit the nail on the head. Usually if we start the budget and Lisa says come December or January, every month we do a look at, and depending on personnel savings, either from healthcare, hiring, or whatever, if she believes the status is good at that point, we're not running too much in our areas of concern, that if she feels comfortable, we go back to the committee and say, we weren't able to do the server, would you consider the server? So, exactly. But It's also tricky, primarily because of special ed, but if we're able to fund that, an anticipated line item, that would be quite helpful. We would have to increase the budget, early on in the year.
All right, well, just personally, I'd like to see you revisit that area
Okay.
if and when you ever get any, if you're halfway through the year, if you can see, I really don't want to see us go backwards with the technology.
More importantly, I hope that you've had a chance to, all have had a chance to read the executive summary in terms of Eric's contribution, especially to the capital budget. That's instrumental. It was nice to hear from the budget committee who spoke favorably in supporting the capital request for technology. I hope that you might want to consider that. That's huge for us. We need that.
Can I ask a related question about that? Because I noticed that I was looking for more like a capital budget in the binder, and the one that I think all of it is the technology, which adds up to about $87,000. But I know you have needs beyond that. And I know
My bad, I should have included it.
That's okay. And I think that, to your point, that the planning board and the budget committee are in sync on that, and I think that the budget manual allows for that, but I was just curious, you didn't identify it in here, but.
I didn't, I should have put a page with the rest of the capital. Off the top of my head, John, I think, obviously the truck, which we requested for 2 years, which I think we spent $5 to $8 million on rental this winter, is the other priority, and I think we have walking talks in there, but I will get you that one. Yeah.
Before you meet next.
But I appreciate the fact that we read the part of technology, that's really good. Thank you.
Just a comment, it looks like professional development would see a 10% decrease. You don't spend a lot of money in the first place for professional development. I mean, as somebody who's required to keep his license, a minimum of 120 hours a year, over 3 years, 40 hours a year average, there can't be room for a lot of that kind of stuff. Again, I'm kind of the opinion that, I guess with the available resources that you're hoping to receive, you have to make some tough decisions, but, the number of professional development dollars spent, to me, usually comes back in a product, or in this case, service, which is a better teacher, or a better administrator, or whoever it may be. That's just, that's just where I come from.
Well, the PD and the technology was almost like seed money. It was actually not expensive, but it was going to really support in-district teachers to actually train other teachers. The PD money funds in the area of curriculum. I'll let Claire speak to it if it's the desire of the council. Obviously, there's a reduction in her budget. She does a phenomenal job cobbling whatever resources she can through the CRP and other grants to mix with curriculum instruction and PD. So she does a great job trying to keep her budget down as much as possible. For her credits, I don't know if it's up to the council if you want to hear from her or not.
I'd love to. She's there? I haven't
So,
harassed her.
great job.
We fund PD, curriculum and professional development locally. There's also restricted state funds that we receive. There's also competitive grants. And the last couple of years, I've been very lucky with some of the competitive grants, and so we've been able to really move forward. And so I feel very comfortable with this budget and the budget cost.
So there could be other, you're probably still continuing to ask for grants and everything.
Absolutely.
Okay, I got you. All right, well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
Three curriculums we're targeting next year, so that'll help us a lot too.
I could add a comment. On a regular school committee, open session, there's on a regular committee for us to hear about various programs which have been funded through grants at the school or obtained through the school. So just as somebody who's been in the school committee, I think that the school seems to do a good job of seeking out seeking out grants and trying to apply them in the classroom and apply them to the benefit of getting much bang for the buck. And I just wanted to mention just a happy thought too. I agree with you about the technology. sometimes we can see some savings to a technology. I think you're right in terms of e-books, that will be the future. I'll just put my teacher hat on just for a moment and say, I do believe, I have worked with a lot of mild to moderate students who would be classified as mild to moderate disabilities. And I think that the e-courses, the online courses, are a good supplement and are good to use on occasion. Same thing for students who are in the AP courses when you don't have the AP teacher available. I don't think e-courses, it's not the same as being in a regular classroom. I don't think I think the student, overall, I think the student gets a better learning experience if it's in-hand learning, live person in front of them, physically in front of them, not via like the online program. What I'm saying is the online programs have their place, and we certainly use them. I know we have some students at the high school who use them for situations where they need to take something that shows it's being offered. But you still want to have teachers. I think you get a better learning experience if you have teachers. So.
I agree, and don't misunderstand my prior comments. It was just that I think technology is important to fill in the gaps, you know.
Exactly.
And that's the only way I made the comment. And I just used the AP as an example. Special, you know, somebody who's mild or moderately, I think their individual IEP would allow for them to be benefited by technology. We should do that versus sending them out, or sending them to a different program, or sending them out of district.
And don't understand me, the programs are, Novinet is one they use a lot. The programs have they're useful, I mean, they're good, they're better than nothing, it's not a bad alternative.
Yeah.
And they certainly have their, I guess what I'm saying is it's a tool, but it's one tool in the tool, it's not, it's not a substitute, it's not a substitute. But again, I don't want to.
I don't need to rush us along, but I do want to just remind the council we're running about 22 minutes or so behind. We can still have discussion, but just what do you want to do with the rest of the agenda?
I just have one more. Last year we had a copy of a basic education plan analysis or something. I didn't see one this year. I know Edge and Sweeney talked about it in their reports. What's the status with that?
I didn't include the one-page, they were, the two-page summary, they reviewed the 36-page as well as the two-page summary. If you're interested in all of that, the only thing I would say is that it is a draft, it's something we work hard to stay current on. So it's a draft, it's our estimate, and I'll be glad to provide the two-page. I don't think you want to deal with the 36 and 38 analysis page. We'll get that to you with the one-page capital if you want.
I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for the indulgence. I won't be available on June 12th.
Excellent, thank you for the opportunity, and I appreciate the fact that you read the executive summary, and it's only going to get better. Looking forward to it.
The 1 inch was definitely an improvement over the 3 inch.
Isn't it? I think so. So we got some really good suggestions. So.
And on behalf of the council, just thank you to all the administrators and teachers who are here to help with the questions. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for your time. Hope we didn't go too far over.
Can we confirm if Attorney Doherty is